Hi there, my name is Justin Archer, aka The Posture Guy, and I'm here today to help ease your mind when it comes to choosing the appropriate chronic pain relief method, technique, and or procedure that's right for you, okay? Because if you've been looking around online or talking to friends and family for a bit now, you've probably discovered that there's a million and one plus treatments out there or avenues and paths that you can take in order to treat your pain. You know, you've got surgeries where they'd be small and rather, not that invasive, to full-on hip replacements and other joint replacements. You've got drugs, whether they be injectable or oral. You've got different types of exercise-based therapies like yoga or Pilates. You've got hands-on manipulation type therapies like massage, active release technique, Rolfing, and the list just goes on and on and on and on and on and on. And when you lay out all your options out on the table, it can be, and I know from personal experience it was for me, very overwhelming and very stressful. So what I want to do today is arm you with a list of rules or laws that I call the 8 laws of physical health. And these laws will actually help as kind of a checklist to see, if you're considering a surgery or taking a certain drug or doing this, do they match up with these laws? Because these laws are things that your body needs in order to lead a pain-free and active life. So a life without pain, but also one without limitations, okay? So first on the list is the law of vertical loading. Now, the law of vertical loading states that gravity is necessary, but not simply in any state or any position, but one that has proper dynamic tension. And dynamic tension is actually our second law. And dynamic tension is, simply a $10 fancy word term for balance of weight front to back. So basically, your muscles on the front of you have to be of equal length and tension to the muscles on the back of you so that there's even pull front to back in the body, and you have that vertical loading where the center of your ear, the center of your shoulder, hip, knee, and ankle joint vertically line up, okay? Now, if, let's say you break that law of dynamic tension and vertical loading, and you look something like this, well, you've already broken 2 laws, shame on you. But, a lot of people come to me like this, rounded forward, and they ask, how did I get that way? And that brings us to I think we're on our 3rd law, I lost count there, which is form and function, okay? Now, the law of form and function states that your bones and your joints will do whatever your muscles ask them to do. So again, take for example that person who's, rounded forward, the shoulders rounded back, head forward, and let's say they have a computer job where they're on the computer a lot, they're using the mouse, and they're looking at the screen, and they do these type of motions again and again, day in, day out, week in, week out, year after year. Well, it's no surprise that they're gonna look like this, okay? So that's the law of form and function, okay? Moving on, the next law is breathing. Now, breathing, obviously, your body can't function without oxygen, and this law is so important that your body has several kind of backups to make sure that you keep breathing, even when you're unconscious, okay? So you need proper air. Now, speaking of air, air, our environment, how we move or don't move, what we eat, sleep, those are all forms of stimulus. And that brings us to the law of stimulus. And the law of stimulus states that our bodies are 24-hour reacting organisms. They're stimulus reacting organisms. And they react to stimulus without prejudice. So they don't say, this healthy food you ate was good for me, but the toxins in the air are bad, so I'm not going to absorb that. They take in every and anything, okay? Now, if you want to make your body more prone to taking in the good stimulus and kind of deflecting the bad stimulus, you have to move. And that brings us to the law of movement. Movement is kind of what ties everything in together, okay? It ties in our circulatory system, our nervous system, our lymph system, everything. And the more you move, the higher your metabolism is. The higher metabolism is, the stronger your immune system is, the faster you burn calories, and the overall healthier you're going to be. So you have to move, and you got to do it continuously, okay? So now, assuming you're moving, or I should say not assuming, but moving in of itself, is fine. But in order to do it properly, you need to be moving with proper balance. And balance, we going back to dynamic tension. Dynamic tension, remember, was that what? The balance of weight front to back. Well, balance is the balance of weight left to right. So, imagine if you're moving. Let's say you go for a walk or run, and you have one hip an inch higher than the other. Well, step after step, that's going to actually further strengthen that imbalance, which can cause hip pain or knee pain. But if you're balanced left to right, if your weight is even left to right, then you're going to be fine. And that actually doesn't matter if you're 100 pounds, 200 pounds, or 300 pounds. As long as your body has balance and dynamic tension, as long as you're complying with those two laws, it really doesn't matter how heavy you are. Although I would agree, if you're a bit overweight or even obese, it's healthy for your heart and other parts, other systems of your body to lose that weight. Okay, but don't ever let anybody tell you that, you hurt because you're overweight or anything. I've had skinny clients that I've seen in pain, and I've seen fat and obese clients that that are pain-free. So that's a whole other video. I'm getting off to a tangent. But anyways, moving on to I think what is our final law, which is renewal. And this is definitely, I'd say, the most important. It's the last, but definitely not the least important, is the law of renewal. And the law of renewal states that our bodies are always renewing. We're always growing new cells. Whether it's, we scratch ourselves and we get a scab and new skin grows, we cut our hair, torn cartilage and everything, our bodies are always trying to repair. But it has trouble doing so if you're not obeying the other 7 laws, okay? And the more laws you break, then the slower your body's going to renew, and eventually it's going to stop renewing, and then you die. So really, the more laws you break, the faster you die. And I know that may seem extreme, but it's true, all right? So obey the law. Anyways, like I said, you can use these to compare, maybe different treatments you're thinking of doing. So if you're thinking of having a hip replacement, think, does replacing the hip joint, maybe you even have bone-on-bone arthritis in your hip, does that comply with those 8 laws? In my experience, honestly, no. That's why I've never once seen someone come in who's told me, I'm thinking about having a hip replacement, and they've had proper vertical loading and dynamic tension and balance. Usually they've been breaking all 3 of those laws. And they'll go get a hip replacement, and that hip won't hurt them anymore because it's artificial, but their other hip will hurt, or the knee below it will hurt, or the muscles surrounding that new artificial hip will begin to hurt. Why? Because they didn't address the cause of the problem, the imbalances in their structure in the first place. Unfortunately, we're not like cars. You can't just swap out the bad parts and throw in new ones. I wish it was like that, and wish it was that simple, but, you may just have to do some work. So, sorry to break it to you. Anyways, those are the 8 laws. If you have any questions about them, feel free to comment in the section below, call or email me anytime, and I look forward to seeing you inside the next video. Alright? Take care, and keep moving.